Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome back to the Ipswich Indoor Sports Centre for the continuing final series of the 2023 Junior Indoor Cricket National Championships. I'm your host, Cameron Walter, and I begin this afternoon by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we will compete today, and I pay my respects to their elders past and present, and extend that respect to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders here today. It's my great honour to introduce to you this afternoon the Under-16 Boys Grand Final between Queensland and Western Australia. But first, please join me in congratulating the umpire who will stand in this match, Hayden Brum. And introducing first, led out by their captain, Toby Collins, the defending champions, Queensland. And their opponent, led out by their captain, Zed Hollick, Western Australia. And of course, our best wishes to both sides. May it be a great game played in great spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, here in the venue, if you are able, please be upstanding. It is time for the Australian National Anthem. The national anthem ahead of a national final. It's always great stuff. And hello again, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just joining us, you switched in to the Under-16 Boys National Final between Queensland and Western Australia. I'm Cameron Walter, and I'm joined in the commentary position by Australian player, the ACT Rockets captain, national champion, Matt Flores. Matt, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Cam. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being with us. And just before we get into some analysis, let's take you through the two lineups, starting with Western Australia, who will be batting first. They're captained by Zed Hollick, with him Dylan Prance, Joshua Hendry, Joshua Redman, Nate Tomasini, Riley Clayton, Liam Wright and Micah Akinapoli. The Queensland side is captained by Toby Collins, joining him James Turner, Julian Bass, Jesse Haller, Mitch Hart, Caden Jarrett, Callum McKeon and Ian Khan. Rounding out the eight, the umpire for the match will be Hayden Brum from Queensland. And folks, these two sides have played each other 3 times throughout the week. We'll just take a look at those head-to-head results. All 3 of them going the way of Queensland. Twice in the round games, they won 122-73, 132-96, and then they won the major semi-final by 21 runs, 104-83. So Queensland certainly going into this final as favourites, but you know what finals are like, Matt Flores, anything can happen.
Yeah, definitely. I think both teams are very, very good batting teams, so I think probably today the best bowling team, I think, is probably going to get the biscuits today. So Queensland, I think, winning the toss and choosing to bowl first. So I think they back their batting to chase any total that WA put on the board by the looks of it.
Yeah, that explains that strategy. Dylan Prance and Josh Redman will be the opening combination for Western Australia. It looks as if Callum McKeon is going to open the bowling. What sort of a score do you think Western Australia need to get here?
Look, on these courts, because they're probably a little bit easier to bat, I'd imagine they're probably targeting something north of maybe 95. I think they'd be happy with. But I dare say they're probably looking somewhere around 110, 115 to make themselves breathe easy in the field.
So that will take a pretty big batting performance from them. The highest score they've got is that 96. So we know they're capable of it. The national final in the under-16 boys. Queensland against Western Australia. Here's Callum McKeon to get us underway. Starts with a run, backward of points. And already this game feels like it's got some energy about it. The ball was quick, the decision to run was quick. Quick between the creases. It's going to be a fast-paced, action-packed final. In at the stumps and a great shot from Redmond. How about that to open his account in the final?
Very good start. Nice full face, hit the ball nice and high on the net.
Oh, off the body. Good piece of fielding there in the front court.
The thing I liked about that, Cam, is they changed the field up there, brought two onto the leg side, and straight away Callum McKeon on the money, bowling straight to his field.
Yeah, big movement in at the legs of Prance, and it stays inside that line, and it will be third ball. So 2 consecutive dots within a partnership puts them on third ball. The score has to change. With 2 balls remaining in the over, here's a real opportunity for Queensland to strike. Oh, driven in the backcourt for 4. It was over pitch, a very similar delivery to the one before. Press time's ready, and he grabs value for that shot.
It's a great shot.
1 ball remains now in the opening over. Jams that one out. It'll be a dot to finish. 7 runs off the opening over here in the under-16 boys national final. Thanks so much for joining us. We're live from the Ipswich Indoor Sports Centre. I'm Cameron Walter, with me, Matt Floros. And Matt, you've captained the ACT side for a while now. You've been in national finals. You've just captained them to a win, to a national title. How do these teams prepare? You know, what's the messaging that these players would have just received from their captains, their coaches, ahead of the big dance?
Look, I think it's probably pretty cliche of me to say, but I think the coaches would have delivered the message of it's just another game. Make sure you stick to what you know and your strengths. Easier said than done, because there's quite a big crowd here, a lot of noise. So I'd imagine nerves are creeping in a little bit.
Here's Toby Collins, the captain. With a shape again, and Prance finds the net for 2.
Queensland have gone pretty hard early here, with Callum McKeon and Toby being very good bowlers. So I think they might be seeing something in these 2 batters.
And the shape, it finds the net and the backcourt for 4. I think he almost called no when he played that, but they still ran. And a huge shot in the end.
Great start for this Western Australian team.
The flick hits the stumps and they take a run. It was risky, but the throw from Bass was a wild one, and they get away with a single. It's good awareness there from WA.
It is. There's ebbs and swings through finals, and at the moment you can just feel momentum for the Western Australian team at the moment.
Leg side. So they won't get the ball again. That doesn't happen unless it's the last over of a partnership. They get the 2 runs for nothing. 2 balls remain for Collins. Tough to get that away.
It's very well bowled.
Yeah.
Cramped him up and didn't give him any room. And again, they've got that tactic of 2 on the leg side to the batsman to try and force them to hit it on that leg side.
Comfortable 2 to finish the over. An excellent over for Western Australia. 11 runs from it. They're off to a flyer. 18 runs after 2 and looking good here.
They are. What a start. And you can see the whole Western Australian team on the sideline up on their feet applauding every run. So I think that they can feel that the momentum's with them at the moment.
Got quite the batting lineup, Western Australia, with Prance leading run score 159 at 17. The skipper 145 at 18, Zed Holick. Hendry 141 at 17. Tomasini and Liam Wright in the hundreds as well, so plenty of runs. There's a chance here. Oh, if that had hit, it would have been out. Probably could have even gone to the keeper's end as well.
Yeah, and you can just see that, sorry to come back to it again, but the momentum side of things, they're just, riding their luck a little bit, pressure on the fielding team, and managed to get through.
James Turner, the bowler. And there's 2 for Prance. Must be pleasing for you, Matt, as a member of our Australian squad, to see all the talent coming through the age groups.
Yeah, definitely. There's been, especially I've seen a lot through the 16s and 18s in recent years, and I was privileged enough to be a part of the under-16s ACT girls team throughout the week, and managed to watch them play a few games, and hadn't seen a lot of the female games specifically, and the skill set coming through in that division. And WA just won the under-16 girls, and I watched them play throughout the week, and I'll tell you what.
Oh, that's a great catch. We'll come back to Matt. Little deflection into the net. Didn't panic. Followed it. Stayed low. And affects the wicket. The first wicket in the innings. Just as WA was starting to get away from them, and 1 ball remains.
You can feel that Queensland really wanted that one, Cam.
Yeah, you're right. Particularly in the female game, lots of talent coming through.
Yeah, especially that Western Australian under-16 girls team. I was watching them, and I watched them in today's final, and I dare say we will see a few of those in Australian colours in future years. They're very, very talented.
Turner trying to rush the bats up there. I think he was trying to go before either batsman was ready, and told to wait by the umpire. Hit the ground there. That was the sound. That's a dot ball to finish the over. No runs from it. An excellent one from Queensland. And we are in a contest here, and it's thrilling to watch. And Matt, it's a personal success for you. Not only winning the national title with the ACT Rockets, but the Alan Wilson medal yourself, and the first player named in the Australian side for the trip to Dubai later in the year.
Yeah, it was a great week. We were very successful as a team, and I think typically you find that most individuals who are successful in our sport in general, whether it be indoor or outdoor cricket, are usually part of a strong team. So I owe a lot of credit to my teammates, because without them I don't get to play. So
absolutely right. Jarrett is the bowler for the final over the pair. He's bowled a dot there. They will be on 3rd ball now. It's a wide ball, but they set off anyway. And Queensland, they strike again with the old wide 3rd ball trick. They set up well for it. So the keeper was wide. The ball was probably wider than they wanted, but WA overcommitting, and the wicket falls.
Very well bowled. For those who aren't familiar in indoor cricket, generally when we get that third dot ball, usually the aim is to try and beat the batsman, so get it through and get that easy run out as you saw. So to go full and wide like he just did is the perfect execution.
Yeah, so Queensland now on top of this pair. They've taken 2 wickets in, 4 deliveries. Just shows how quickly the game of indoor cricket can turn. It's into the gap. It was in the air for a little while. It falls safe, and it'll be 2 runs to Prance with 3 balls remaining in the partnership.
Yeah, I imagine Western Australia now, after that really good start, are probably now reassessing and thinking that maybe around 20 would be a good place to finish.
Just let me focus on that point, Matt. How important is it that you are continually reassessing, both with bat and with ball?
Yeah, very important. So, especially on, I think, courts where it's easy to score runs as well, it's important to be positive as a batter. I know sometimes people might lose a bit of confidence and then...
the ball skipped up.
It's a very good ball there, as you saw. Yeah, it's very easy to get into the mindset of, thinking don't get out or stand in front of your stump so you can't get bowled. But I think you've seen the teams that have been successful are ones who keep being positive and look to hit the ball and score runs and move the game forward.
It's a chance. The throws are wild one. There's been a couple of those. The 2 runs off the last ball. This opening partnership of Western Australia have posted 19 in what is already proving to be a gripping contest here between Western Australia and Queensland in the under-16 boys grand final. I'm Cameron Walter, with me Matt Forrest, and thanks so much for your company as we bring you this and all of the grand finals today live from the Ipswich Indoor Sports Centre. It certainly is our pleasure bringing you the coverage as Zed Hollick and Joshua Hendry make their way to the crease. The captain, as I said earlier, 145 runs at 18, Hendry 141 at 17. So between them, this is a 35-run partnership.
Yeah, you would think so, and I like the tactic that they've employed here. It's very, very similar to what we actually do for the ACT Rockets, which is looking to keep the momentum and push the score forward. I know some teams in history have usually batted their best batters last to sort of close well, but in some facets it's hard to do that when maybe the first 3 pairs don't put on a score. It might sort of be over by then. So I like the tactic they've employed here to continue the scoring.
Haller, the bowler, and then there's no ball to start.
The thing I also like about their stats, Cam, of the run scoring is, like you said, it's good to see both of them averaging about 17, so you're probably going to get your 30 plus, and if they both obviously play well, you might be looking into the 40s, so it's really good to see.
Backing away, can't get bat on it, it will be a dot. Advances, it's a miss hit, they'll get away with it, 2 runs. Certainly an intent to score here, isn't there?
There is, and it'll be interesting to see how Queensland counter this a little bit and whether they'll try and hold them up a little bit or potentially save some of their better bowlers maybe for some of the other pairs who they might target. It'll be interesting to see.
What would you do? Would you look to contain? Would you look to try and attack a strong pair?
I think it's always important to contain and keep going I guess as hard as you possibly can and countering your opponent as much as you possibly can, because I'll give you 2 scenarios. The first one is they let them go and let them bat well and try and target another pair, but if this pair was to put on, let's say 40 runs hypothetically, and then your next pair coming in then has a lot of confidence from that previous pair, and maybe the intended effect of going hard at that next pair actually loses its effect entirely because the other team now have confidence, whereas if they go hard and keep this pair to, let's say, 20-25 and they're expecting them to score 35, then the next pair probably starts to get a little bit nervous and the score's a little bit less and they try a bit harder, and a few wickets might creep in.
Here's Mitch Hart. Oh, good deflection. 2 at one end, and they get away with it again, Western Australia. I'm not usually a fan of the leaping, of the sort of the blind leaping there, but it was effective that time.
Worked well there for Jarrett. Oh, what a shot that was, Cam.
Yeah, you love those ones.
I'm a big fan of the leg side shot, hitting it high up into the net, and Hart bowled a perfect ball essentially, and it was just countered with an even better shot.
Yeah, a little bit of width there, and Holick just gets tall on the ball, plays a nice down up 2 through the cover point region. Oh, must have caught some of the line there on the way through.
Yeah, I thought it might have snuck in there, Cam, but Hayden Brummer umpire, actually just watching the replay, making definitely the correct call there.
It's 2 to come for Mitch Hart. Shortens them up. The ball's fair. He's short, wide, and nothing wrong with that.
It's funny, Cam, already in this sort of short 6 overs that we've had of the game, you can already feel the ebbs and flows of it going to WA and then Queensland, so it's very well bowled to finish.
Yeah, an important couple of dots there, because what it means is the 7th over will begin on 3rd ball. WA will have to change the score on that ball. Be interesting to see who Queensland go with to try and cash in on that 3rd ball situation.
Yeah, definitely. It's the game's in the balance, I would say, at the moment, Cam. I don't know what your read on it is so far, but you can kind of just feel that both teams are there or thereabouts, and you're just sort of waiting for either what the batters to maybe hit a back net and get the team going, or, the bowler to bowl a really good over and take a couple of wickets.
There's the 3rd ball chance at the top. The throw had to hit.
Had to hit. I thought for a moment there we're right in the line of that, Cam, and I thought that was tracking right on, but just a little bit wide by Collins.
One of the things, as we see, that hit another down up for Hendry, this time a single. I've noticed, certainly, to use your team, the Team men, is your back stumpers don't start right back on the net and often move straight to the stumps and stand there. And that's a great piece of work at the back here from McKeon. Might have been just out of frame for you, but he keeps it off the back net, but it's still 3 to Holick. And that means that just about every single throw that comes in from that front court, if it's within this box, the receiver's going to take it and whip the bails off. Yeah,
definitely. I think that's something, as you start sort of creeping up the levels a little bit more and progressing in the game, you'll notice that every ball's almost orchestrated, that you're backing the bowler to bowl in the right area, to have the batter hit it in a certain direction, so you almost orchestrate what the play's going to be and what you want to happen. And again, like you said, Cam, we orchestrate our back stumper to be closer to the stumps, because what we're typically expecting is not the batter to hit it to the back net and then to field it. It's more to take a throw from one of our fielders, and typically at the men's level or the opens level, whether it be men or women, is typically it's sharp fielding, and it's going to be fired over the stumps usually.
11 runs off that over for WA, another good one. And to your point, if that's where your back stumper is, setting up for that return throw from the field, and they happen to hit the back net, either because it's just a great shot or because the bowler hasn't got it right, well, so be it. You've got to back your bowlers to hit that at the area you're looking to bowl. Yeah,
exactly right. And I think that's where as you start creeping up the levels and you start looking at your representative Australian teams, you'll typically find that you put a lot of trust in your bowlers to bowl in the right area and stick to the plays that you plan and you set. And couldn't agree with you more, Cam.
Ayan Khan is one of the last over to this pair, right on the money to start.
It's a very good start to the over, and being the last over, they've probably gone with someone who's pretty consistent with the ball to not have any re-bowled balls in this over.
Advances and finds the back net for 5. Gives himself the little fist pump as Henry And goes over and soaks up a bit of love from the teammates on the sideline too. Why not?
Fired up, isn't he? It was a really good shot right through the ball to the back net.
What I really admire about it as well is that takes guts. He's come out, he's advanced to that ball, backed himself to get to the pitch, played right through the line and hit it on the edge of the V for 5.
Yeah, definitely, especially in the grand final, Cam. I've played a couple of them, and I'll tell you what, I don't really have the guts to try and take too much risk usually. So yeah, kudos to Hendry.
I think you're okay there, mate, because you can usually just whack down up twos off your legs for fun. But 2 runs to come, 35 on the board for this pair. It's funny, we said they averaged 35. And that's right where they are. Statistician's dream at the moment, this partnership.
They haven't made a liar of it, which is nice.
Chance needed to hit again. I believe that was 2 to finish. We'll just wait for the umpire to put in the book. 2 it is. So 9 runs off that final over, and a 37-run partnership batting second. It takes me back to the point you made earlier about the tactic you'd like to see here is coming in with a strong pair. Don't hold them back. Come out and force the issue early. And they've done that, and they've done it successfully here, Western Australia.
They certainly have. As I said, in recent years, or probably going back maybe, I'll call it maybe 5 to 10 years, usually the strategy was you have your solid pairs, sort of bat 1, 2 and 3 pairs usually, maybe get there 15, 20, and then you have your last pair, that's your strong pair to maybe hit the ball that's a little bit older and doesn't swing as much and try and capitalise. But I really love this tactic of, they sent their strong pair out, put the score forward. They're now 56 after 2 pairs, and I bet you if they were asked, would you be 56 after 2 pairs, would you take it? They definitely would. So, great start.
Wright and Thomasini at the crease now for West Australia. Here's Kean. Through for 2 is Wright. Again, he's another solid bat, averaging 15. Thomasini averaging 14. So together they can, look at a 30-run pair here and really put Western Australia in a strong position.
Yeah, definitely. I think well bowled. I think what they'll be aiming for here is to capitalise on that 56 so far. So I think something around, if I was looking at the scoreboard as a coach here, I'd be thinking a 29 would be nice, get them to 85 with that last pair. So that last pair scoring sort of the average or par of 20 or anything above that pushes them above 100, which I think will put the pressure right back on Queensland to try and counter with some good batting.
Couple of leg sides in a row there.
Just straying a little bit, not getting his line right, Callum. Let's see if he can finish the over well for Queensland.
Oh, it's one of those balls that just dies on the deck. He played the final on this court, a week ago today. There's a funny spot out there, isn't there?
There is, and funnily enough, I'm thinking back to our final and a lot of the games we played here, and we didn't see too many during our matches, but I've watched a few of the games today, and I've seen it happen a lot.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good piece of fielding, but the shot is true, finds the net, and they get home. 8 runs off another good over for Western Australia. Yeah. How hard is that if you're the batsman out there and you know that there's that spot on the pitch that might get hit that could do that? Does that play on your mind at all? Do you just have to ignore it and hope it doesn't happen?
I think you just have to ignore it. It's, if you're facing a very, very good bowler, for example, and you're already sort of on the back foot or worried about what they might deliver, and then you have that variation thrown into it, it's a lot of things to think about. So you probably try and put it at the back of your mind and just try and bat. Oh.
Should also comment, as I have done on some of the earlier games, the fact Western Australia have a team in every grand final today, which is just an unbelievable performance from them. You just see this ball from Toby Collins. Oh, chance. It'll be out. A little bit of yes-no cricket. They didn't need to do that, WA. But both batsmen. And I think this is why they committed to that run. Both of them a couple of steps out of the crease, and it looks to me like, we're halfway there already, we're going to go. But the effort should have been, as you see just there in the replay, to get back. And they give up a wicket.
Yeah, I think the other thing that probably creeped in there was a couple of good balls in a row, just perceived pressure, thought they had to run and get off strike, and created the run out, did Queensland.
Yeah, so WA in every final, Queensland in every final for divisions they're contesting. Disappointingly, no under 16 girls team here from Queensland, which surprises me given they're the biggest indoor cricketing state, and hopefully we'll see them here next time. But for them as well, that's another big effort as we see third ball. So another opportunity here for Queensland, and some instructions from the support staff. Get through, see off third ball. But tell you what, I was talking to some of the support staff before this game. They made a point to me that I thought was interesting. Queensland, WA in 5 and 6 finals respectively. The only 2 states here apparently with sports trainers.
There you go. I didn't even know that, Cam, but it's interesting, and
that just shows that. I mean, that's not the only reason, but it's a factor, right? It's a factor, and. Well, I think there's a lesson in that for some of the other states. You need to get a trainer here to support your players through 8, 9, 10, 11 games. Yeah,
definitely. And I think anyone who's played a week of indoor cricket, whether it be at the national level, international, or even at your local centre, you know that it does put a lot of pressure on your body and your joints in particular. So if you're not fully prepared when you come away from a strength and fitness aspect, that, yes, definitely a trainer comes in handy, definitely.
So it was a great over there for the Queensland captain. 4 dot balls in it, the run out as well, -3 off it, and that has put Queensland in charge in this third partnership. Here's Turner now.
Oh.
Aggressive call for the single.
I think that'll be interesting here, Cam, with this batting pair. I won't say they've struggled. I think they've kept the score moving forward. They've probably just... What a great shot that is. Nice sweep shot, putting it high up into the net for 2. I don't think they've struggled. I think they've just had a lapse in concentration, as you said, running themselves out that previous delivery in the last over. But the thing I like is they're looking to push the score forward and still hitting the ball really well. So,
that's 7 runs. I can't believe that. He has mishit that at the weird spot of the bat. It has just sailed to the right of screen and just hit the back net, maybe 5 centimetres above the ground. 7 runs.
Unbelievable. I think everyone in the centre was waiting for someone just to catch that because it was a mishit, and it just sailed into the bottom corner. You couldn't ask for anything more than that. So probably backs up my theory quickly, actually, of, they're pushing the score forward, and you can see there, because they're positive.
The quicker ball there from Turner, almost effective.
Yeah, being so positive now, you can see they were on 6 coming into this over, and all of a sudden they're now on 16 with the ball left and another over to bat. So this could easily turn into a 25-30 partnership.
Again, some positivity. And Liam Wright finds 4. He has got 12 runs off his own bat in that over. And with the 3 from Tomasini as well, it's a 15-run over in response to a wicket off the previous one. That's fantastic batting. And they are really well placed now, this third partnership here for Western Australia. You said earlier you'd like to see them get to somewhere around the 85-run mark, and that's right on track here now.
It certainly is. 9 runs off this over. I think the coach of the Western Australian team will be very, very happy.
So Jarrett will bowl the final over of the partnership, I should say, and he starts with a wide.
Interesting there from Jarrett. I know he bowls a nice off-cutter, typically opting to go with the seam up swing ball there.
Well kept off the back net there by Bass, keeps it to 1. Oh, a big swing and a miss. Strike one. Both these sides well coached. You got Wayne and Josh Fontana in charge of the WA side, and Dion Collins and Brendan Coust for the Queensland side. Another league side. These are killers in the final over of the partnership. They get the runs and the deliveries again.
Yeah, just to back up what you said there, Cam. Yeah, they're very, very well coached, and a lot of knowledge in both camps, and you can tell just by the way they both teams. Oh, good piece of fielding there by Callum McKeon on the leg side. Yeah, but both very well drilled, and you can tell that their setups in the field, their bowling plans, and just the way they bat, you can tell that it's coming from some knowledgeable indoor cricketers.
Whoa. That's a good rock from Jarrett.
It's a very good ball there.
One of the things I like about Jarrett is look at his follow through. Look where he ends up. He's almost past halfway by the time. So all his energy is going to getting that ball. And there it is. Affects the wicket. Just got some bat on it. I don't think he realised where it had gone, Liam Wright. Unfortunately for him, it had gone straight back to the keeper.
And Mitch Hart, the keeper, affecting the run out quite easily in the end. And I think that target of 85 has probably just come back to 80 now.
Through for a run. So it's still proving to be a gripping contest here, folks. That third partnership gets 73 to take the score to 79 here in the under-16 boys national final between Western Australia and Queensland. Hope you are enjoying the coverage live from the Ipswich Indoor Sports Centre. If you have just joined us, I'm Cameron Walter alongside Matt Flores, and just take a minute to talk about the team here at Ipswich. It's a long fortnight for them, and they have a wonderfully presented centre. They've worked hard. They've long days. We're very, very appreciative to everyone here at the Ipswich Indoor Sports Centre, to Kev, to Andrew, to your wives. I have not met them, so I'm afraid I can't name them, but really appreciate everything that you've done. It's great to be back here at Ipswich for the first time in, 15 years I think it's been, something like that.
Yeah, great facility, great people, and
nothing's too hard.
No, it's great. I know them both personally, and you can go and ask for anything from them, and they'll give it to you. So it's they've done a great job this week and last week.
There's the first ball from Howler, Akinapoli, and Clayton at the crease now for Western Australia.
Now, I'm curious to know your thoughts, Cam. What do you think from here? What do you think the WA camp are thinking in terms of score? What do you think they'll be happy with?
I think a minimum 100.
Yep.
But they'd be looking for 110.
Yeah.
And to not lose the wicket. They're on third ball early. The pressure is on. It's a leg side. Oh no. Dragged out of his crease and the wicket falls. It's so difficult. When you're facing third ball and you know you've got to try and change the score and you miss the ball with the bat, not realising if it's gone leg side or not, you drag out of your crease, and as soon as you take that step forward you realise, oh no, what have I done?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's funny, just that perceived pressure of being third ball and the batsman then completely changing what they do typically and play it completely differently. I think the key is to make sure you stick to what you know and stick to your strengths and try not to get too overwhelmed and do what you try and do every other ball.
One of the things, irrespective of the target for these guys, that I certainly want to continue to see is that positivity in the batting that we've seen throughout the innings. Even in response to wickets, they've still looked to play their shots and progress the score. And I think that if they do that, well, yeah, they will achieve that 100-run minimum, and 110's a possibility.
Yeah, definitely. And coming back to, I guess, the open division levels last week, you saw that the teams that typically were winning a lot of games are the teams who were positive and looking to push the score forward. And I think there was a game, Cam, where I saw a team lose about 5 wickets and still score 120, which is
Yeah.
typically unheard of, but it's just that positivity of looking to score and push the game forward, which, I absolutely love, and I love seeing, when our junior teams come out and put that on display for us.
Mitch Hart's going to bowl his second over after one off that Haller over. Oh, confusion. They get away with it. You can just see there should be some grand final nerves here. Little bit of indecision, little bit of a lack of eye contact and maybe concentration. They've been able to get away with it on that ball, but they won't get away with it too often. He's bowled in. Mitch Hart does the job.
That was the ball that we were talking about earlier, Cam. Just seemed to skid on, stay a little bit lower, and couldn't be counted with the bat.
So we talked earlier about reassessing. 2 wickets are back to 77. Now to me this becomes, 90 at a minimum, 100 starting to look like a really good score. Oh, left alone, a big shout. Worth the appeal. In indoor cricket, if you don't offer a shot, you invite LBW, with that one probably missing leg stump and going over the bails by some way.
Yeah, Hart probably doing himself an injustice and bowling quite actually a good delivery in the end, which looks like it took off and probably would have gone just over the top of the stumps.
Inside the line again, 2-dot balls. Great bowling from Mitch Hart. He's bowled them, and a dot and a dot. You can't ask for much more than that.
Definitely not. On a third ball here, and again, depending on what happens here, could...
Short and at the body, it's a no ball. It's a brute of a delivery. I don't mind that at all.
Not at all. Very good ball and counted with the bat and through for the run. And I was just about to say, based on that ball, it would have been a big reassessment of the score. If a wicket was there, then, all of a sudden 85, it would look like a good score. And to counter that now when they're up to 80 with still 2 overs and a ball to go.
The leg side to finish. But with that wicket, it's just 2 runs off the over, so 3 on the board so far for this pair. And this is fantastic bowling from Queensland. At various stages here, WA have been looking good for 100 plus, for 110, maybe even 120. Queensland have kept up their standards, taken wickets at key moments, and now 100 looks like a great score for WA from where they are. So
it certainly would. And I think 100 from here you would probably say would be about the par of what Western Australia would be looking to come off with. And in saying that, Queensland have started to bowl really well, and they're getting the ball in the hand in the field and hitting the stumps. So I think anything's possible.
It's a direct hit at the top, but he's home.
I'd like to see the replay on this, Cam. I think it was closer than we thought.
Yeah, direct hit always are, and what's interesting is Akinapoli was tailing off rather than right down the pitch. So that adds, half a second to the time it takes you to make your ground.
Yeah, it definitely does. And for all those cricket snuffs out there that love the statistics and all the finer things of the game, as you creep up the levels, you look to capitalise on every possible thing that you can. So, running in straight lines so you get there quicker, or when you're fielding, typically we try and teach to throw the ball on the full rather than the bounce because it travels quicker, doesn't take as long. So all those little things always creep into the game. And for those of you who watched the Australian teams on KO at the World Cup last year, in the finals, we had the pleasure of having a third umpire with the replay of the camera, and a lot of the run-outs were, within a couple of inches that went Australia's way, and it's just those little things that we teach at our junior level that help.
Chance at the top. There's an example. The throw was the bounce. They get through for 2. 1 ball remains.
The thing that I liked there from that batting was Queensland are bowling well, and it was just countered by just giving himself a little bit of room and able to put it up and get 2 runs and get to the other end.
That's a deflection, and that's out. That's unlucky there for WA. But that's what the front court's sometimes there to do, just get in the way of the ball. And you never know you're like in a big city. Right there for Queensland, that's gone straight back to the keeper and an easy run out.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Western Australia. There's not much you can do with those. You just get on with it and go to the next ball because, yeah, what do you do, Cam?
Well, I think for Clayton, the answer is to not come out of your crease on contact. Yes, he's looking to come forward to play the ball, and some of that momentum took him out of the crease, but the game situation probably needs to be a little bit more tentative and try and stay there until he does have a bit more of a reaction. That's really the only thing that would have saved him there. And even then, what could probably happen is then he's in his crease, plays forward, and he gets run out at the top.
Yeah, exactly. That's very, very true. Well bowled again, and creates a third dot ball. I think they've there's three I've at least counted in this pair. It could be possibly the fourth. You can just...
Third, yeah.
Yeah, you can just feel the pressure Queensland are creating.
Beaten, and that'll be out at the top. Oh, he's given it not out. So the only way that's not out is if the receiver's hands are in front of those stumps.
I think what you can see there is it looks like the ball never hit the stumps. It looks like it might have come off Bass's hands and just gone straight back down the pitch, and stumps didn't get touched in the end.
Yeah, so there you have it. It's a great call from the umpire, Brum.
Oh.
So, just to focus in on that decision for a second, one of the things that umpires at lower levels tend to do is watch the bat and listen. But for umpire Brum to see that, he's got to take in the whole vision of the court.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing that I've got to give credit to is Bass could have easily run in and tried to claim the wicket, and in the true spirit of the game, he didn't, to his credit, and got on with the game. So kudos, young man.
100%. Final ball of the innings. And they're happy to block it out. And that brings the first innings to an end. Western Australia batting first have posted 86 here in the under-16 boys grand final against Queensland. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your company throughout this final and indeed the entire day. Don't forget that there's plenty more to come, beginning next with the under-18 girls grand final at 3:30 p.m. local time, that's Eastern time, and 5:30 the under-18 boys grand final. Like this final, it's Queensland up against WA in both of those games. I hope you can stay with us through the conclusion of not only this match but that tournament. And indeed later tonight we'll be announcing several touring sides for the juniors that will go to the Junior World Series in Dubai. So an amazing opportunity for these young players.
Yeah, definitely. To pull your shirt on for your country and represent your country, especially over in Dubai. I've been there once for the World Cup in 2017, Cam, and it was an amazing experience. So for all the kids that get selected, I know the talent across our junior divisions is very, very strong. So no doubt whoever pulls those shirts on are going to be very successful.
Yeah, and look, to that point, there's obviously going to be some disappointed players when those teams are named tonight, because it is such a tight contest for those positions. And look, I'd just say to those players that might be watching back this game, you've got to be proud of the achievement that you've made it that difficult for the selectors to pick that side. And just because you haven't made this one doesn't mean that you won't go on to make another one. I remember yourself, Matt, not making the 14s in 2006, and here you are, multiple World Cup winning Australian player. So
yeah, you're spot on, Cam. I was about to sort of say to all our junior players who will be disappointed through not being selected and going away to represent their country, please don't stress. I didn't make any Australian under or junior team, and I played since I was 13, so I didn't pull any Australian shirt. And even in the open division for the men's team, Fortune got me my shirt, which was, I actually wasn't selected. I owe my whole career to Clive Rose, actually, who was selected and pulled out last minute of a tournament that he couldn't get away to, unfortunately. And Ross Gregory gave me a call and said, how would you like to come away on a trip? And that's how I got my opportunity. So
bowler. They need 87 runs, Queensland. And there's the first run off the bat of Jarrett. Queensland. 86. We were talking about 110 at one point. There's the first, probably below par off the bat of Jarrett. 86. We were talking about 110 at one point. It's probably below par.
We were. And I mean, I was talking to the Western Australian coaching outfit before the game, and I know that they came into this game and brought in an extra strong bowler because I thought bowling was really important on these pitches, which is I completely agree with. So they've, I think they've gone maybe a little bit weaker with the bat to go stronger with the ball, and even with this first over so far, you can see they've been on the money and putting Queensland under pressure very early.
2 balls remain for Clayton. We talked about the Fontanas. Brock Hickey, also part of that coaching setup for the WA 16s.
Yeah, a lot of experience there and good minds. I have no doubt they'll be as nervous as the rest of the team through this game. There's
a chance. Through for 2 to close out the over. 5 runs from it. Look, to that point, Matt, as you know, I coached for a long time, juniors in particular, masters. Came away with the Rockets a few times as well. I just can't do it anymore. I can't wear those nerves. During the men's final here, Marie Hart, the manager, a long-time servant of the ACT Indoor Cricket Fraternity, couldn't watch the game. That's how nervous she gets. But at least she's still here. I just can't do it. I find it hard enough to watch and commentate, mate. I don't know how you guys do it at all, either on or off the court.
It's very hard, very hard. I know. And look, it's stressful because you care, I guess. So, right. Yeah.
Here's Hendry. There's been a couple of those shots with both these guys that are sort of down up and in the vicinity of the batter's box, not necessarily getting them to the net. And that's just a sign of where the line is from the WA attack.
Yeah, I think...
well, that's fine, found the net.
Very well bowled, and again, I love when there's good bowling, Cam, and then it's just countered with even better batting. That's what I love about our game. So... for our cricket statisticians and snuffs that love this sort of stuff, I think one of the things that I try implement with a lot of players is in terms of scoring, what's a good score, and in terms of runs, we always sort of put things down to, this person scored 20 this game, or they scored 25, or they only scored 6 runs. I think what it comes back to is strike rate is key. One of the things we always try and get to a ball to keep the score moving forward. But if you sort of break it down and think, okay, what happens if I get a strike rate of 130? So that's 1.3 runs per ball on average. As a team collectively, you score 125 runs. So if you were asked to ask every team, would you take 125 runs at 1.3 a ball? Of course you would. So
yep, any day of the week.
Yeah. So I think sometimes we get caught up in, this person scored 20, but if they faced 20 of the balls and the other person only faced 4 but managed to hit 10 runs, then, who's the better batter, I guess, Cam. So, but in response here, chasing 86, again, it's less than a run of ball that they're chasing. So even a run of ball, and that's what I've liked so far from this Queensland team, is WA have come out strong with the ball and bowled really well, put them under pressure, and they're just getting 1 a ball, which is, in theory, all they need. But just countering that pressure early will just probably take the sting out of Western Australia a little bit. But being a grand final, it's a whole different ball game, and I have no doubt WA will pull something out for us.
Here's an opportunity for them. It's 3rd ball. Well counted from Hart. Grabs a single off the first ball from Prance.
Thing I love as well, Cam, it's been a while since I've been to a junior indoor cricket nationals, and just seeing so many people around and supporting and watching, and the smiles on everyone's faces and the enjoyment is just second to none. I just absolutely love it.
Yeah, credit to everybody that's here in support, and of course to the parents that might be watching at home who can't make it here. Their support equally is important. And thank you to all of you. And Hart grabs another 2. And all of the finals, both this week and last week, really well attended here in the venue.
That certainly was, and again, credit to Ipswich Indoor Sports Centre. They just have a great facility, had it all set up ready to go, and it's just great atmosphere.
2 to come. Half a chance.
I'd be curious, Cam, what are your thoughts? What do you think the Queensland camp are thinking in terms of their first 2 batting pairs? What do you think obviously they're hoping for as many runs as they possibly can get, but what do you think they're realistically looking for?
I honestly think they're good enough to, and think they'll be targeting to try and get 30 and 30 and just bat WA out of the game. They're right on track to do that now. And WA haven't exactly, their entire bowling attack is quality, but they've bowled Clayton, Hendry and Prance at this pair. Clayton's got 14 wickets. They've certainly thrown some quality bowling at this pair, and they've still got 20 runs.
Yeah, they've countered the really good bowling. It just feels like it's in the balance, and I think you're right. I think they'll be backing themselves to go 30-30 the first 2 pairs and bat them out of the game, but in that same fashion, you just feel with the way WA are bowling at the moment that
something's cooking.
If 1 wicket comes, there's 2.
They've got to get him. They've got to get him. And they do. It's out. It took forever. And oh no. Jumping in. They nearly injured each other there. Zed Hollick, the captain, had to clutch his hamstring to jumping into the circle. But a bit of confusion there, as you see on the replay. And they do the tidying up eventually and affect the wicket.
And I think this is what we're talking about, Cam, is this the start?
Yeah.
For those of you watching on the live stream, you in terms of the atmosphere and what we're feeling here, is you just felt that wicket was going to happen. It's just been such good bowling and just a tense atmosphere. So the fact that it came is of no surprise.
Well, yeah, just ask you about that tension. Watch this ball. Driven to the back. It'll be 4 runs for Mitch Hart. A great shot. We go back to the men's final. The ACT were probably ahead the whole game. 90 odd on the board. That'll be out. Oh no. Mitch Hart overcommitting. And again, WA make no mistake. There's a good piece of fielding to turn and throw right in the zone for the receiver and affect the wicket.
It's especially after a back net shot, you don't want to give those back. And I think just a bit of nerves might have come in there just to try and get off strike.
The last ball, it's 2. They finish with 18 runs, so it's game on here, folks. It's the under-16 boys grand final. If you've just tuned in, I'm Cameron Walter, with me the Australian player Matt Floros, and we've got a game on our hands. It'll be a thrilling finish. And what I was going to ask sort of relates to what we've just seen. That take you back to the men's final. Again, felt as a commentator, as a spectator, that actually were ahead the whole game. Did it feel like that on the court? The pressure out there. What is it like? What's the impact on your game?
Yeah, look, we were very fortunate that we had a very, very good week as a team. But again, I think everyone knows that no matter what you do in terms of sport, whatever sport you play, that when you show up on grand final day, it's a new day, it's a new game, and everything that you've done previously kind of goes out the window because the adrenaline's a little bit higher. So. Nerves definitely did creep in. I know there was a moment there as we watched this ball.
Oh, if you gather that, took the bails, it might have been close. Hollick is the bowler, Haller and Turner at the crease. Go on, Matt.
Yeah, so I've lost my train of thought.
A nervous moment, that wouldn't be when McDermott hit your brother for 7, would it?
Oh, that's...
Oh, he's made it. I'm not sure he had the ball either.
That was the exact moment, Cam. I knew I play a lot with Adam McDermott and Brandon Corst, who were batting last, and I knew Adam McDermott could could hit the back net quite easily, and there was a moment there where he had a very good shot, hit Timmy for 7, and progressed their score towards, I'm going to say, early 60s is what they were in chasing, about 90, and I think we all had a nervous moment there, but I think the key that you've always got to stick to is, regardless of what sort of happens, it's, again, cliche, but it's always about to the next ball. What can you do for the next ball? Because, you know, dwelling on the previous ball doesn't help you in what you're going to do for the next ball. So, yeah, definitely one nervous moment there, that's for sure.
Yeah, and, you know, to put that in the context of this final and what you were describing earlier, it feels to me like that pressure, those nerves, just laced throughout this game. It's going to be a question of who is able to deal with it more effectively, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's why I love the thought of, you know, the positivity in progressing the score forward, because, you know, you might lose a wicket or you face some good bowling, but if you counter that with just some positivity, you know, all of a sudden you ride your luck a little bit, and, you know, you might get out once or twice. Or even in that first pair, they got out 3 times and still managed to score 18.
Yeah.
And, you know, they could have very much easily gone into their shell and got nervous and ended up on, you know, 5 or 10, but wasn't to be.
6 runs off Holick. Akinapoli now. Oh, it'll be out. 2 Queensland bats standing into the middle of the court, looking despondent. It's gone straight back to the bowler. And that's the danger of overcommitting from the non-strikers then, Matt.
Yeah, it certainly was. I think Turner put trust in Haller there, that when he saw it was a waist-high full toss, that he was going to put it up for runs somewhere, and ended up just hitting it back to the bowler, unfortunately, for him.
Keep it off the net. It'll be a single. Akinapoli, 11 wickets to his name. Well, with that one, he's now got 12 throughout the tournament.
Oh.
It's tricky length, isn't it? I mean, that one certainly you wouldn't, unless you ran at it, you wouldn't be playing forward, but it's tough to get back and up as it passes through about, you know, sort of chest height.
Yeah, definitely is. It's hard in indoor cricket. When you face a good spinner, it's hard to play, because we're used to sort of facing that faster bowling to hit it high on the net. So when you don't have that pace, you've got to manufacture it a little bit of it yourself. And when it's popping like it is at the moment, it's very hard to counter. So when you get a good spin bowler, you try and capitalise and then keep them in the game and progress them as far as you possibly can.
He's gone without his bat. It's 2 to a single rather to close out the over. 1 run from it after that wicket. This pair find themselves on 7 after 2. And I said before that Queensland would be keen. I thought they had the capability to get 30 to 30 and really try and bat WA out of the game. But what happens here is, especially if it's another sub-20 partnership, is that just gradually increases the pressure on every subsequent over. If they don't get back ahead of the run rate, so to speak, I know which is usually meaningless in indoor, but it does increase that pressure, as we see Wright bowling now. Beaten.
Very well bowled there. Looks like he just rolled his fingers across that cam and just beat the outside edge nicely.
Too much width that time.
Very good shot. Yeah, like you said, Cam, another partnership of sub-20. I feel like WA will be feeling like they're in front of this game.
Oh, there's that spot, absolutely dying off the deck.
Again, not much you can do as a batter. Like I said, you just put it out of your mind and worry about the next ball and hope it doesn't do that every ball, Cam.
Oh, just wide of the 3-line fielder. It's 3 runs.
And with that 3, the interesting thing will be here, Cam, you know as a player when you've played long enough that there's ebbs and flows, and it's all about sort of, as it stays low again. Just finding the spot is right. You know when there's ebbs and flows in a game, and as a player it's about identifying those ebbs and flows and going with it and pulling that momentum back to your team, and I think this is a key moment for this Queensland team.
Driven, misfielded, finds the back net for 5. They were well and truly on top of this pair. Haller chances his arm straight to the receiver, it must be said, and had enough power on it to get through burst through the hands and find the back net. 10 runs off the over, they move to 17.
And I have no doubt now they'll be reassessing the score again, Cam, and thinking with that positivity they've shown in that over and the good batting, that they'll now be thinking maybe we can get 10 off this over and push our score to 45, which then puts Queensland probably back in the driver's seat.
Yeah. Final over now to the partnership. It's Josh Redmond. Josh Redmond, I should say, not Redmond. Redmond.
You can see just with that last good over and that good start to this over, the Queensland team, as he pushes that one down leg side, it will have that re-bowled. You can see that all of a sudden the Queensland team on the bench are up and about again, and there's a lot more noise coming from that bench.
I think that front court field there needs to be, particularly to the spinner, they need to be closer to the exclusion zone than they are to the net. And they're right back on the net.
Yeah.
And there's 2 problems with that. One, they've got less chance of preventing it from hitting that net, but then if it does hit the net, the ball bursts off the net and it's out of their reach.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like we were speaking earlier, Cam, it's all about sort of trying to plan and orchestrate your play as much as possible. So like you said, you try and stop the runs first, and if the runs do occur, where is the ball going to end up, and making sure your fielders are in that position. So a quicker one there, tried to sneak through, and Haller keeps it out.
1 ball remaining. The other interesting thing is Prance in the sort of cover position quite deep, and the 2-3 line fielders quite deep as well. There'll be a dot ball to finish. So, Queensland fight their way to 26 on the strength of a 10-run third over in that partnership, and they are right on track for a victory here. This is exactly where they need to be. 44 on the board here in the under-16 boys national final. It's Cameron Walter here with you and Matt Floros. And Matt, if you were a betting man, who would your money be on with 8 overs left in this match?
It's hard. It's really hard to say. I think with where the score is at the moment, and knowing how Queensland have batted this week with the totals they've put on, I'd still probably rather be in Queensland's camp at the moment. In saying that, though, it is a grand final. We've probably got what we call the premiership pair coming out in this third pair. Interesting. They've gone with these 2 batters specifically.
Beaten off the first ball.
And look, I'm sure these 2 probably have actually batted really well. I just know one of their batters who's coming in last, Toby Collins, who is a very good player. I thought they might have chanced it here to
try and ice the game. Can't hit 2.
Try and ice the game, and that thought process of if that pair comes out and puts on, let's call it 30, then all of a sudden that last pair only needs 10.
Driven, it'll find the back net for 4 runs.
But in saying that, the way they've 2 started, there's probably a chance of 30 the way they're tracking already.
Yeah, Bass and Khan. And I'll tell you what else, Zed Holick, 19 wickets prior to this match. So this is his 2nd over so far wicketless. He's gone for 12 runs with 2 balls remaining. Talk about neutralising a threat.
Yeah, it looks like they've just tried to play him out of the game and not give him too much. And good piece of fielding there. Back to your point earlier, Cam, last over, you said that cover fielder sitting back a fair way, and then the sweepers, or guards as some prefer to call it as well, that are back a long way.
Sent to the back net for 7. Julian Bass is looking to win a game in this pair. What a shot, 14 runs off that over.
What a way to counter the leading wicket taker.
Absolutely.
Good, a lot of courage to play that, especially in a final. But like you said, I like the guard fielders back to protect the back net a little bit and give that bowler a chance to, especially a spinner, the chance to throw the ball up and turn the ball. It's very important we give our spinners the chance to turn the ball and give it some air. But those front court fielders, like you said, that I'd still like to see them nice and close and up, so when they do bowl a good ball, you've got your field. Yeah, they're in the game. You've got it counted, rather than a good ball then still goes for 2 because they're sitting so far back anyway. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's runs all day just through that cover point region. The distance between Khan and Prance is just wide. And if you do have your 3-line fielders on the line, you actually want to invite the ball to be hit to them. So get Prance closer to that exclusion zone, and they'll be aiming to hit. Now that ball's gone to Prance, but it should be going to Clayton. Clayton should be the one fielding that ball, getting into that front court. Yeah,
definitely, and especially with the bowling so far, the left arm going across the right-hander from right. It's a good shot there from Bass. Yeah, just with that one going across, again, you probably know that going across, the batter's going to look to play it to the offside, so pushing that fielder in a little bit more.
It's out. Must have got a little tickle on it. And, they needed that wicket. These two had come out with some intent. 14 runs off the previous over. And that wicket just keeps WA in the game.
It does. It probably stabilises things a little bit for the Western Australian camp. They'll be very happy with that.
Straight to the fielder. And you see again, that's gone straight to Prance. To me, that should be Clayton's ball.
Yeah.
And one of the beauties of that is because that's then got to travel another metre or so, maybe attempt him into the run.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think one of the tactics that we try with some really good players at the opens level is you almost play to their strength sometimes. Like they may be very good on the off all leg side, and I use Reece Dearness as a good example. A lot of you will know Reece Dearness, very good player on the leg side, and what we actually do sometimes is when he's batting so well, we actually sort of feed that and bowl to that and then set our fielders accordingly in that position, and try and make him consistently do it. And sometimes it's just that, what a shot there from Bass.
On third ball too. Bangs it down up 3.
And you almost just feed that a little bit, and then all of a sudden, if they don't hit that shot they typically hit really well, and they miss one, then all of a sudden you might find that they then miss the next one, and that doubt creeps in a little bit because you sort of just almost play to their strength a little bit. So I wonder if that's... what a shot.
Khan it is this time. Moves the score to 63. 24 runs away now. There's still 5.2 overs remaining.
Been another good shot there from Bass. I've been really impressed with his batting so far. He's just taken some risk. He hit a 7 earlier and took some risk, but looked like calculated risk from him, and he's hit the ball really well.
So is Khan. The ball finding nothing but the middle of the bat at the moment. 9 runs off that over. The partnership is on 23, and 5 overs remain now in the under-16s grand final. And 20 runs away are Queensland from the national title.
I know they won't like me saying this, Cam, but for viewership, I always like to see a close grand final. It brings everyone into the game in the crowd and the atmosphere. Obviously, when you're playing them, you want to win by 100 and not have that stress. But I wonder if there's more to come that might bring this a lot closer than we think.
Tomasini will bowl the last over to the partnership. There's a chance. The flick. No wicket. 2 runs.
I like this field they've got set up here, Cam. That cover fielder is pushed down a little bit more. Oh. And straight away, as we see there, didn't affect the play, but managed to get his hand on it, which we haven't seen so far. Typically, they've just hit high up the net and they've jogged through, so.
Driven on the onside. Looks like for 2. It is. Really important for WA that they close this over out without too many more runs leaking so that the last pair has plenty of runs to score. That ball just spinning away from everybody. It'll be a dot.
Very interesting here for those sort of watching along with how many balls are left. So there was 3 balls prior to that one. So a dot there, another dot here, then puts the last ball on 3rd ball.
Oh, even better for WA. Tomasini bowls Bass. A huge moment. Bass had been hitting everything out of the middle. And that takes the score back to 68 and introduces maybe a few more nerves.
It certainly does. And I was going to say maybe another dot ball will create a bit of pressure, maybe bring a wicket, but no, brought it 1 ball earlier.
The final ball to the partnership. He chances his arm again and finds the back net for 4. That's an impressive batting performance there from Julian Bass. He just got castled. Wasn't very impressed with that, I don't think. So he's made up all but 1 run of the wicket. And they've posted 28 for that 3rd partnership. And, well, for Queensland, they're in a really strong position here with their captain, Toby Collins, entering the court, and with him, Callum McKeon. They'll need just 15 runs off 4 overs. So you would think for WA to win this match, they probably need at least 1, probably 2, maybe even 3 wickets in this 4-over period, depending on how many dots there are.
Yeah, definitely. I think 3 wickets. If these 2 bat the way I know they can bat, with their positivity and intent, they typically like to score a lot of runs and hit the ball quite hard. So I think it'll probably take 3 wickets. But in saying that, a wicket early might create a bit of nerves and a lot more dot balls, and potentially 1 or 2 wickets might do the job for Western Australia.
Micah Napoli will bowl the 13th over. A very deep field, straight field. Here he is. See, this is the problem with being overprotective, whether it be to a spinner or any other bowler. A batter like Toby Collins is too smart for that. He's, especially to a ball of that length. He's going to rock back and hit 2 all day. Yeah,
definitely. I think it comes back to, giving our spinners...
Should appeal for that.
Giving our spinners a chance to spin the ball and throw it up. Through the history of Australian cricket in both indoor and outdoor, we have this tendency to, one gets hit for some runs and we go really defensive and try and protect too much rather than...
Keep attacking.
Push your fielders up. Put the batter under pressure to try and, score runs and potentially give you a catch or make a mistake. So I'd like to see that cover fielder up a little bit closer.
Fortunately there for WA, his movement was quick. He anticipated that well and probably got to where we think he should be standing.
Yeah, he did, and Prance read that. You saw straight away. He moved straight to his left as soon as he saw where it landed.
Chance at either end. The throw had to be on the money. It was wide. And again, that's one of the consequences of having to move in a position. You're off balance.
Yeah,
you're standing there, stable base, quick turn and throw.
Yeah, exactly. And if he was that little bit closer, they have to wait for that ball to go through him to then make the call.
Into the 3 net, the throw. It's a good piece of fielding from Redmond. He can't hit the sticks. And a good start there for Queensland. 9 of the 15 that they need. They've got 3 overs left to get just 6 runs.
Now, I know you've commentated a few grand finals, Cam, and I think the Queensland camp will be pretty keen to progress the score past 86 in this over,
Yeah.
and then maybe in that 15th over, then progress it past for most of you who aren't aware, when you lose a wicket, you lose 5 runs. So they'll be looking to progress it to 6 runs.
Oh, it's out. It's taken straight back to the bowler. McKeon just threw his shot a little early, and Redmond makes no mistake. How important is that?
That's very important. I was just about to say, look to progress the score past that 86 as quickly as possible, and they're going to have to wait a little bit longer by the looks of it.
Good response there from McKeon. He said the WA side would probably need 3 wickets at least. There's one of them.
Yeah.
Cautious decision there.
It was. And I think, the thing I'd be aiming to do if I was in out there batting at the moment is, again, progress that score past 86 before that last over comes along, because, if you're behind or very, very close to that 86 going into the last over, it's there's a lot of pressure.
Speaking of pressure, it's third ball. Beaten, and that is out. Redmond strikes twice, and all of a sudden, Queensland are back to 73. They were just 6 runs away, Matt. And there's game on here. There's 2 of the at least 3. God, might even be 4 that WA need, the way these 2 can bat. But edge of your seat stuff, folks, here in the under-16 boys grand final. 1 ball to come for Redmond. And a dot ball to finish. That is an incredible over late in the dying stage of this game. 2 for -8.
What an over from Redmond. The thing I love, again, with our spinners, he threw it up, gave it a chance to spin, a few dot balls, passed the bat, got a stumping. I love it. Now, for those of you who can see on screen, interesting, WA called over by their coaching staff to have a chat there. One of the things I think I love about when you've got momentum is keep it pushing forward. Don't give the batters a chance to think or reassess.
Yeah.
Because in that moment of that team going across, yes, they probably got some very, very wise words from their coaching staff, but you give the Queenslanders an opportunity to go to their bench and regather and get ready and counter back. So, interesting.
Yeah, totally agree. There's a leg side off the first ball from Prance, the penultimate over of the match here, and another one. And now it just puts them 10 runs away. Prance has to be on the money. You can see he's trying to target those legs.
I was about to say, what a good ball, and it certainly was cramped up, and Collins gives himself a little bit of room and puts the ball up nice and high for 2.
Oh, that was a great delivery. I thought for sure that had got through. McKeon just gets bat on it.
I don't know about you, Kev, but I'm getting a bit nervous. I don't even know why.
I love this form of the game. Prance continues on the money, but the Queensland captain is up to the challenge and hits it through the gap for 3. They move now just 4 runs away. I think WA probably need their 3rd and 4th wicket now to win the game. There's a chance. He hits the stumps, but McKeon's home. It is a single, brings the over to an end. With 1 over left in the tournament, in the under-16s national final, and Queensland will need 2 runs off it. So, 6 balls.
This is exactly what I was saying, Cam. You don't want to be coming into this last over, whether you're bowling or batting. I can tell you both teams will be very nervous right now, and you're almost waiting for, if you're a batter, you're almost waiting for the fielding team to bowl a good ball and affect a really good piece of fielding and take that wicket. And if you're bowling, you're just waiting for that batting team to just ice the game with a really good a good shot. So buckle up.
Yeah, Joshua Hendry will bowl the final over of the match. Queensland are 2 runs away. WA need, well, at least 1, perhaps 2 wickets. It's the final over of the grand final. Fasten your seatbelts at home, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Oh, and it's a dot ball to start.
What a ball. What a start. On the money, straight on the legs, 2 on the leg side in the field. Dot ball to start.
McKeon ties the game with a 2.
Now what'll be interesting here is there's 4 balls left. So even a run here to push them ahead still means they're still going to have to cross once more.
Short and wide, and 2 to the Queensland captain. 3 balls remain. To your point, they will have to cross one more time and they can block out the remainder of the game. WA need to find a way to take a wicket.
Imagine a wicket here, Cam.
Oh.
Oh.
Silence in the centre. Oh, and it's a leg side. They're not going to have the ball again. No. So they are able to block it out from here. WA have to attack the stumps. That front court's got to be right in on the exclusion zone and hope that something pops up. Maybe even an edge.
You can see McKeon straight in front of his stumps, protecting the stumps.
2 balls remain. There's 1 safely seen out by McKeon.
Well, we said 3, Cam. They're going to need 3.
Yep. The final ball of the tournament here. What that front court field need to do is make sure they are not over that exclusion zone. It'll be a no ball. The other thing is they need to be low.
Yeah.
McKeon be looking to block the ball down into the ground. The only way they're going to catch it is if they are low.
You imagine that in situations like this that it's either going to be a bowled or a caught low in the front court.
Here it is, the final ball. Short, and that will do it. Queensland won't want that again. And that is the over. Queensland are the under-16 national champions. They do it by 6 runs in the end with that no ball. What a contest we have just seen. A great run chase there from Queensland. It'll be disappointment for Western Australia. Certainly our commiserations to them. It's been a great tournament. Couldn't get across the line today, but they've come up against a strong side in Queensland who are deserving national champions. And we will wrap up the commentary now, folks, but you can stay on the stream as we present the medals and shield to Queensland, and as well as the award for player of the final. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next as well, it's the under-18 girls grand final in around about 40 minutes time. I hope you can stay with us. But until then, for Matt Foros, for Sportscast Australia and for Cricket Australia, I'm Cameron Walter. Thanks for watching. Ladies and gentlemen, what a fantastic grand final. Please put your hands together for both our grand finalists, Queensland and Western Australia. And it's the closest of finishes. They've enjoyed such a wonderful tournament, and what a contest they have shown us today. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating your 2023 under-16 runners-up, Western Australia. I'm very pleased now to announce the player of the grand final. With a match-turning innings from Queensland, Julian Bass. As they're presented with their medals by the Australian player Matt Flores, please let me introduce to you the 2023 Under-16 National Champions, Queensland. And it's now time to present them with their shield. Here are your winners, and still the Under-16 boys national champions, Queensland.